Hey friends, welcome back to Pastor's Wives Tell All. On the podcast today, we get to chat with our new friend, Dr. Josh Morgan. Josh is the proud husband of a pastor's wife and has nearly 20 years of ministry experience and a doctorate in Christian Formation and Discipleship. He's passionate about helping struggling believers feel closer to God and has shared the life-changing power of Jesus with millions through his engaging digital content. Josh lives in Fort Worth, Texas, with his ride-or-die Faith, their son, Judah, and Deb, the best mom-in-law this side of the Rio Grande. In our conversation, we explore how church leaders can help struggling believers and fringe Christians reconnect with God. Plus, we dive into Josh's surprising connection to home improvement icon, Al Borland. This episode is sure to bring laughter while offering insight on loving past deconstruction Christians well. So let's get to it.
Jessica.
I'm Jenna.
And I'm Stephanie.
And you are listening to Pastor's Wives Tell All,
a podcast by pastors' wives for church leaders and anyone desiring to take a peek inside our glass house.
We are breaking down walls and crushing pastors' wives stereotypes within the church.
We want pastors' wives and other ministry leaders to know that they are not alone in this. Plus, this is basically therapy for the three of us with a whole lot of dance parties. Whoop, whoop.
Hey, Josh, welcome to the podcast.
Hi, how are you?
We're so good. So we got to tell our people who you are. We know who you are because we share a literary agent, Mary DeMuth.
Mary DeMuth. Shout out Mary.
She's great, right?
She is.
Yeah.
And so we got to attend a writer's retreat, you and I. And I don't know, I just loved hearing you talk every time you spoke. I was like, he's so well spoken. He also has such a heart for Jesus. Like, I just love him and I want him to come on the podcast.
Oh, so, that's nice.
For those who don't know who you are, could you just jump in, tell us just a little bit about your testimony, backstory, what you do, just a little bit of an elevator pitch of who Josh is. Oh my gosh, Josh, before you tell us that, can you please rise a bit so our people watching can see what you're wearing? I can't get over it.
Oh my goodness.
He's wearing some of our merch.
That's amazing.
That's one of the coolest sweatshirts I've seen in a long time.
It makes my heart happy.
I'm the proud husband of a pastor's wife. So I was like, I gotta get one of those.
So good.
Can I also, before you introduce yourself, just say one thing? So obviously me and Jessica did not get to go to the writer's retreat and meet you, but you had messaged us on Instagram, you know, like, hey, Mary's followers, Mary's people.
We're in a cult.
Yes, actually. Anyway, so I was like, oh, who's this? And I went and looked at your Instagram profile and I was like, oh my gosh. Fun fact, we've been watching Home Improvement with our kids.
Yeah.
We started watching that because I was like, we used to watch this as kids and with my parents and loved it. And I was like, Jess, he kind of looks like Al Borland. You know, Al Borland from Home Improvement. And
except younger.
Except younger. Yes, of course. Way younger. And I told him that in a voice message and he said, I don't think so, Jen. I will not tell you how long I laughed at that.
You know, what's really the coincidence? I mean, it's super crazy, but on my desk, I actually keep this.
Stop it.
Yeah.
Hold on. So this is a thing. People have actually told you that you look like him.
This is a signed, autographed celebrity photo of Richard Korn.
Oh, I can't right now.
Yeah. I think he's leaning on a yoga ball or something.
That is
that's
such a glamour shot.
Are you related? Because it seems like you might be.
I 100% printed and framed this like 30 minutes ago and signed it myself. So, yeah. And I was just hoping you brought that up, Jen. So
I'm dying right now.
My day has been made.
This is staying on my desk though. It's going to be somewhere in my office.
Good. Because you could tell people that y'all are related and they would 100% believe you.
100%.
All the golden people.
My dad actually does have a signed autograph photo of him because he worked with Richard's wife. So he actually does have one. That's true.
That's even
more random. Maybe you have an uncle you don't know about. I'm just saying.
So funny.
Anyway,
so Josh is funny. Yeah. So there's that.
Yeah, well, thanks.
Tell us more.
I appreciate it. Yeah, so I'm a pastor in Fort Worth. My wife, Faith, and I live in Fort Worth. We have a little 5-year-old boy, sweetest man, just such a fun little guy. And then we live also with Faith's mom. And so that's our little family in Southwest Fort Worth. And I'm a pastor at a church called Hewland Street Church. It's a little church down there. It's a really sweet church. It's growing. It's full of just such kind, sweet people. We've been there about a year now. It's been such a refreshing experience. It's been so exciting.
I love that.
And then Stephanie and I met at the retreat because I've been for a couple of years kind of had this idea for a book and ended up meeting Mary. And, one of the things kind of along the way, I've been in ministry for about 20 years now. And, along the way, as I've been, I guess, kind of narrowing more and more into the field of spiritual formation and discipleship, I've also been having, real-time discussions with people in the church and seeing kind of how both education and that experience overlap, and then also seeing really fruitful ways of talking to people about certain things. And so had this idea for a book and started putting stuff on social media, and then finding that people out there, in the social media universe, it was really connecting with them. And it's just been really fun to have a couple years of kind of realizing, there's different channels in which we can, minister to people through.
Yes.
And that's been a real fun journey too.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah.
Well, I love how you say that social media is a ministry. It can be a ministry. I think that's it gets such a bad rap, in general, but I believe that it can be used for good. And yes, it can be used for evil, but I believe as believers, we have to do a good job to make sure that we are teaching and making sure that we're not just throwing our opinions out, but really bringing people back to scripture, So, okay. You said you're a pastor. Can you give us a little backstory of your calling to be a pastor? Was this when you were younger, older? Tell us all the things.
Yeah. So I didn't grow up in the church. I wasn't a Christian. I was invited to church in high school by a football teammate. So I was 16 and went, and, I'd been in churches before. I never concerned about Jesus or the Bible or any of that. But something about that morning, the Lord stirred my heart. And at the end of the service, I went down front. The pastor had said something like, "Hey, if you want to pray with someone, come on down." So I was like, "That sounds nice. That'd be cool." I thought I was filling out yes, I'd like to pray with the pastor card. And at the end of the service, found out I had joined the church. And so, I was kind of shocked and surprised, but the Lord ended up using it. I was, part of this church now. People were now in my life who love Jesus. And over the next few months, I realized that Jesus was the thing I was experiencing that was different. I wanted Jesus. I surrendered my life to Jesus. I was baptized. And then about a year later, I had a pretty clear sense the Lord was leading me into vocational ministry. So, specifically to work in the church as a pastor, and then also seminary training. Which I didn't know anything about seminary. I think I'd probably heard about it once, and I didn't know. I didn't know what.
Sure, let's do that.
Yeah. And I was okay at school. I barely made it through my undergrad. I almost dropped out multiple times. I was didn't want to have anything to do with it.
Yeah.
But towards the end of college, the campus ministry director at Texas State, that's where Faith and I went to college, asked me to work with him, but I had to graduate first. And that was really exciting. So I booked it. I think I did a 23-hour spring and a 21-hour summer. Ooh. And I walked on a Friday and I started working for him on a Monday.
Wow.
And he, that was a season at that student ministry. That was a season where the Lord put 3 real specific people in my life that had a huge impact on me. Mm-hmm. And I still look back at that as this kind of pivotal moment where, one, I'm so appreciative and so grateful for those people. But 2, I just think it was during such a formative time that I want to be that to other people,
Yeah.
And so, and then just kind of, there's more, a lot more of that story, and it's an exciting one.
That's awesome. I love that so much. So, Josh, in your bio, you say that you're passionate about helping struggling believers feel closer to God, or fringe Christians, as you say. And I do want you to kind of explain what the fringe Christian is for those who are, wondering. But how are you doing this on your virtual platform and in the church you serve?
Yes. So, fringe Christianity is, I think it's something a lot of people have been kind of realizing is there, trying to figure out how to describe this. It's like I see that I can't quite put my finger on it. I mean, that was my experience as a pastor. Was starting to notice these things. And then it was when I was doing my doctorate and really kind of swimming in the oceans of these great authors in like the realm of spiritual formation and discipleship, I started realizing, I think, at least for me, it started giving me like parameters to really start to understand that, categories to kind of put stuff in, which was cool because as I was learning that, I was having conversations with people in the church, people who grew up in the church, but felt far from God, people who felt, called to live their life for Jesus, but didn't feel like they had a relationship with Jesus. They felt the pressure to, be a certain type of Christian, but didn't really have an understanding of even like the next step to take to, what do I do with this anxiety? What do I do with this circumstance? What do I do with these desires, let alone like, kind of these, huge spiritual issues. And so, for me, I mean, that was my story. I became a Christian at 16, and for about 5 years, it was kind of like, okay, go figure it out, and that doesn't go well.
No,
it doesn't go well for a young Christian to try to figure that out.
Well, and it's discipleship. I mean, the thing is, you were missing that. I think a lot of churches are not doing is there's not that next step of true discipleship, of that one-on-one or group, of teaching and helping you with that next step. So people get lost in the flock. Yeah.
And I think a lot of really well-meaning people out there are trying to do that. To me, it feels a little bit more like there's a generational disconnect. So there's people trying to disciple people who I don't know that were really discipled in helpful ways in the first place.
Right. Yeah.
However far that goes back. And not that not that I've got the answers. I think the Lord is just, through my personal life and then through my ministry, he's giving me these little glimpses where then when I go, hey, this has helped me, does this help you? And then people go, yeah, that's really helpful. Yeah. I go, oh, okay, that's awesome. And then how can I, share that with people? And then, so social media has been a really exciting place to like kind of put that out there and encourage people with.
Yeah. I love how you call them a fringe Christian. And I'm excited because I know that your book proposal that you kind of have written, I know, I don't know how much you can tell us, but it is for the fringe Christian, correct? Right?
This book that I'm writing it's essentially how to follow Jesus for new and returning believers. And so we have a lot of people who in the church who, again, I don't know that they have really clear next steps. And so for me, I'm the way I think about stuff is I really like to know how stuff works, and I'm not always right. Like I don't always figure it out, but for me to move forward, it really helps for me to go, okay, I think I understand what's going on. I think I understand what like a good next step would be. Right. Let's try it. And then sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't, but at least it kind of clears the waters. And so I'm trying to present essentially a spiritual formation book for people who they don't know what that next step is, because a lot of really great stuff out there. I mean, there are incredible books on spiritual formation. All the ones I've seen are written for the active Christian who loves Jesus and they want to grow in their relationship with God. Yeah. And all the books I've read and studied, I've never come across one that's for the person who is struggling or they're reconstructing after deconstructing. Or, I mean, like I've done the church thing. I'm kind of done. I'm over it. But then later in life, they're like, okay, how do I get back into this? Right. So this is trying to take an approach to really, shepherd those people.
Josh, I love this because this is my heart too, is for these people, because I grew up in a church that was super legalistic, fundamentalist, all the things. And I came off of that realizing I really didn't have a deep knowledge of the scripture because everything was very surface level. And I think like for me, like wanting to grow and wanting to have a relationship with Jesus, I did a lot of that on my own afterwards. So for me, I'm excited about this book that you have coming. I think it's going to be exactly what people need today. And yeah, I want to read it right now.
Cool. You know what? I want to finish reading this.
Yes, it's our book.
Yeah.
Yay!
Please
So,
do.
It's on my to-do list. Yeah.
Nice.
Hey, friend, we will get right back to our episode, but we want to take a moment and thank our patrons. You guys keep our podcast going.
If you are not a patron and you would like to consider donating to our podcast ministry, we would be so grateful, and we might even do a happy dance.
When you become a patron, you get perks like being the first to hear about special info and retreats. You get bonus episodes, monthly devotionals, lock screens, and more.
Plus, we have added a new $1 tier for those who believe in us and what we're doing, just because you love us.
So head on over to our show notes and click on the Patreon link to learn more. Now let's get back to our episode.
Okay, so I want to kind of go, we're all in ministry, all four of us right here that are talking. And I think as you talk about the fringe Christian, I think this is the Christian. These are the people that I think ministry leaders and other people of the church get the most frustrated at. Like, because you see the potential, you see that they're saying they are this, but they're walking a different way, or, you know, they get so frustrated, they walk away completely. And we can spend a lot of times really being aggravated, and really can turn into judgmental, like all kinds of things. So how can we as ministry leaders and people that are plugged into the church and really trying to grow, how can we not become that Pharisee and not become that judgmental Christian? And how can we love them better? And maybe like, where did this go wrong?
Yeah, that's good. I mean, gosh, I'm no guru. I mean, I'm just in the middle of this with everybody else. So personally, it's just how I feel about this. The most important thing for me or you or anybody else is we have to let Jesus transform us. Like we have to position ourselves before him daily in a way that allows him to shine light on the dark things in our heart, you know, to humble us to the point where we give those things to him. I mean, that's really, it got to be where it starts, because we're not going to see people rightly until he allows us to see them the way that he sees them.
Right.
And the only way that's going to happen is if, you know, he replaces the us with him, and then we like, you know, look more like him before it. So I think second is, so then there's this juxtaposition between, you know, are we discipling people to Jesus, or are we discipling to people to like systems? You know, it's, and that's, I get it. I have spent years, you know, obsessing over systems, because systems are easy. You know, systems you can see and you can measure and you can plan and you can, you know, perform systems, but it's so much more difficult to try to, you know, get metrics on like true spiritual formation, you know, which that was actually why one of the things that made me want to do a doctorate was back when like atomic habits and things like that were coming out. I was like, I wonder if, you know, you have like physical trainers, you've got like financial planners, you've got guys coming out with books like Atomic Habits and the Full Focus Planner. I was like, I wonder if any of that you can do that like over in the spiritual realm. And actually kind of found, I think that a lot of the New Testament, especially Paul, I think he does lay out a lot of like spiritual benchmarks, which is super helpful and super encouraging. Or, you know, even like the fruit of the Spirit, you know, that's like, hey, these are measurable. Like I used to be less kind. Now I'm more kind. Praise God for evidence of the Spirit, you know? And so, yeah, that's a big difference. I mean, it's a big difference to prioritize people and their good over like your own personal gain or your own personal platform, you know, things like that. So I think that's probably where it gets off course, is when, people become commodities and they're treated as such,
Yeah.
So now you've talked to the ministry leaders, you've talked to the other pastors and people that are really plugged into church. But like, if you have a moment with this, with our people that are listening, like how, like for those that are the fringe Christians listening right now, like what's something that you would tell them? Where's like one step that they can move forward in?
Yeah. Something really sweet about social media has been, it's the same boldness that people have, I guess, when they're driving and like, they're not afraid to, show their anger or whatever. There's like I think because they have some sense of security where they can kind of open up about their struggles. And so, I mean, people are just really raw about, this sounds great. I feel far from God. I don't know what to do. I don't think he likes me anymore. I think he's forgotten me. So man, that is just not true. Like that is, he could not love you anymore. You could not be more valuable because God sent his son to die for you. Like that's how special you are. He is present. He's immovable. Like he is unshakable. He doesn't just see you now, which he does, but he also sees who you're going to become, And I mean, it's such a sweet relationship that we get to have with him. And so I would say one, like, man, don't give up, don't walk away. But two is don't feel like, staying and leaning into him has to be like all on your own strength and your own willpower. Mm-hmm. It's about acknowledging your weakness and your need for him and really trusting him with those things and allowing him to be the one to draw near as you draw near to him and reveal himself to you and encourage you and comfort you. So there's a lot of hope in that.
Yeah, that's so good. Because there are a lot of maybe even leaders who are listening who might be in that place. I thought about Andrew Cowart when we interviewed him and how he talked about like, people don't think about this often, but people think that ministry leaders have it all together and that they're like super, super close to the Lord, and they should be super close to the Lord, but they go through seasons of doubt also. Yeah. And I think if you are one of those ministry leaders and you're going through that, like, don't feel like you're alone in it, because you're not. Some people might be embarrassed to even say that out loud. So bringing it to the light, I think, is huge.
Yeah. I'm sure there are, because I was one as a young pastor, I was not reading the Bible. I was not super excited about like serving. I didn't really, there were seasons where I didn't know, know how to grow in my relationship with the Lord. There was a lot of maturation, but sometimes it's easy for, people to get into leadership positions who, maybe they haven't experienced those things. Maybe they're learning as they go. Praise God though, that, he matures all of us and he refines all of us. Yeah. And, I think remembering that too is like, pastors are lead servants. Yeah. They don't have it all together. They're in this with you. They've just said, you know what, I'm going to spend my life trying to equip the saints for the work of ministry and trust the Lord with it,
Yeah. That's good. That's so good.
Pastors are lead servants.
It's a word right there. Okay, Josh. Mm-hmm. Okay. So Josh, what has been your most favorite thing about being a pastor? And also we want to hear what the hardest thing has been as well.
Yeah. They probably go hand in hand because it's heartbreaking. Like being a pastor is so overwhelming sometimes because you just see so much brokenness and hurt and struggle, personal, people close to you, people in the church. It's just, it can be so hard and heavy and disturbing, but it's also, those are sometimes where you see God do some of the most amazing restoration and redemption. Like you look at these scenarios, like people's maybe addictions or like marriages falling apart or whatever, those scenarios where you're like, yeah, nothing good is going to come out of that. And yet the Lord, restores, and it's just incredible. That's easily like the best part of it.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
The front row seat.
Yeah.
And I agree. Like Well, we always say the hardest and best thing is the people.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But you're right. Like, it is heartbreaking watching when somebody falls or they're going through something really difficult, and then you're feeling every bit of it for them, especially if you are somewhat of an empath. You could really take all that on.
Yeah.
But then at the same time, it's so great watching them just take that next step in their faith. And
Yeah.
Totally agree. I would say all of us would.
Yeah.
Right?
Is that you guys? Are you all super empathetic?
Well,
are one of you like the cold-blooded killer?
I'm a little bit of both.
Who would you guess if you were to
Well, I
guess
just
one
said
of us?
it.
Oh, you did just say it. I missed it.
I'm gonna say you since you asked that question. That's pretty.
That was you.
No, am I not right?
what did
I
you
don't know.
ask? Oh, if you had to guess.
It's definitely not me.
Okay.
I
Definitely not me.
Yeah, I mean, I for me, I can be the, especially early on in ministry. Like if I had something to say, I would say it, no matter the cost, most of the time. And I would say now, Jesus has definitely taught me how to be quiet and let Him fight. But also, I would say, yes, I do feel very deeply, and I feel people maybe before they even know what they're feeling. But yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So this is fun. We should talk personalities here for just 2 seconds. Josh, first, I know what his Enneagram number is. I'm not going to tell y'all, but what do you think it is?
Ooh,
Just from our conversation.
You had more time with him.
that's so true.
Like, this is not fair, but okay.
Oh, what is your feeling right off the bat? Get it? You said, people's feeling.
Oh my goodness.
What's he feeling?
I
About
like
the silence.
literally. Usually, I'm pretty intuitive, and I could probably pin you as one or another. But I don't know. There's part of me that thinks maybe.
I think I'm going to go with a 2 or a 9.
I literally was thinking 2 or 9.
Okay. What is it, Stephanie?
3.
Oh.
No,
Okay.
you don't give 3 vibes at all.
Oh,
Really? That's good.
No.
I was
good.
thinking 2 over 9.
But I mean, if you said a 3,
Yeah.
you can go that wing to a 2.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
maybe, yeah.
What
You don't
well,
give
you
3
probably
vibes, though.
Stephanie's a 3, obviously. But what do you think we are?
Oh my
Wait, I'm going
gosh.
to say something before just to give you kind of a hint.
Okay.
So, Jessica said that she, early on in ministry, she would, if she had something to say, she would say it. Okay. Well, me, on the other hand, I'm going to keep my mouth shut unless I 100% feel like what I say is going to be good for that moment. Like,
Okay.
yeah,
it's going to be right.
It's got to be right.
Okay. I am not an expert in the Enneagram. Are all you guys different numbers?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, so Stephanie's a 3. Where my mind went with Jessica was maybe like a 1 or a 5.
Okay.
Interesting.
But I don't know which one of those is the really cool, fun party person.
Neither.
Neither one.
Well,
They're 7.
I'm just kidding. Yeah. Well, because you said like you like speak your mind, and so 1s are all about like justice, right?
Mm-hmm.
And 5s are all about like facts and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
And then I guess Jen, are you a 2? One of you has to be a 2.
I am an 8. And in health, I go to a 2.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
She's a challenger.
She is a 1.
And I'm
Okay.
a 1. Recovering perfectionist over here.
let me bring it back to the Enneagram 3 for a second, since there's 2 of
Okay.
us.
Yeah.
So when I knew that he was me is when he got excited about spreadsheets
Yes.
and having everything in order, and the way he works, like with YouTube and social
Yeah.
media, and how he likes to figure out, well, what is going to work and what days and what times and whatever and blah, blah. Like, as he's talking, I'm like, you are me. I went,
That's awesome.
oh my God.
Yeah.
We
So-
are the same.
I love spreadsheets. One of the things I started recently is this new podcast. It's called 8-ish Minute Bible Study Podcast. And one of the first things I did was I created a spreadsheet. And because I was like, how I'm going to go through the book of John. How am I going to divide this up? How am I going to name them? How am I going to create templates? They're going to help me
Yep.
I went straight like nerd.
Spreadsheet nerd.
And
Yeah.
it's been super helpful. It's been
That's
great.
awesome.
And I love
That's
it.
amazing.
Yeah.
I love it.
Little overachiever.
Okay,
Yeah.
so let's get back. Yes. So we have 3 final questions that I really actually want to hear from you. And what you do. So let's go.
Good.
3 final questions.
You ready? Rapid fire.
Yeah.
If you could go back and give your pre-pastor self one piece of advice, what would it be?
Yeah, I think it would be surrender your need to be liked.
I feel that.
Or you're going to start worshiping people instead of leading people to the cross. I mean, those don't work together.
That's good.
That's real good.
Oh gosh,
Preach it.
Spoke to my soul.
Okay, Josh, what do you do either by yourself or with your spouse to get your mind off of all ministry things?
Okay. So we love home renovation shows.
Yeah.
Like home improvement shows?
No,
like his dad's on.
Okay.
Different shows.
Yeah.
Like
we watch Home Improvement and I just kind of hold this and we watch it. It's really fun.
Cuddles with it.
Yeah.
Yes. That's amazing.
Home renovation shows. We love going to, we're pretty, date night's real important to us. We love going to restaurants and stuff. And then, I love walking in the mornings. That's become a pretty important part of my day is going in the mornings, walking and kind of thinking and praying. And so those are all, super regular, important things. Yeah.
Yeah. That's awesome.
Sounds
amazing.
Okay. Last and final question. Are you ready?
Yeah.
No pressure.
Okay. If you could tell the church congregation one thing without reservation and have them really listen and respond, what would you say?
Yeah. Okay. I'm going to process this with y'all. Okay. So Jesus is king and this is his kingdom. And one day the king's coming back, which means that at some point, every one of us is going to have a moment where we stand before the king and we have a conversation with him about how we stewarded our lives, either for his glory or we used his name for our glory.
Ooh.
And so for those of you that are out there and you're faithful and you're consistent, praise God, keep going, be blessed, be encouraged. For anybody who has taken those, talents of the master and you've buried those in the dirt, I encourage you to go get your shovel, ask the Spirit to help you remember where you buried them, dig those things up, and then ask God what he wants you to do with them, because that creates a sense of maybe helpful urgency that I think we often forget because it's, maybe about different things. And I think that's a helpful kind of, sobering reality.
That's good.
Wow.
Love that.
So good.
Go get your talents, guys. And use them for his glory.
Let's do that. Also, Josh, before we leave completely, where can our people find you? Where can they follow you? Where's your favorite places to hang out online? All the things.
Yeah. I love Instagram, short form for little, quick devos and things like that. I have a new podcast, the one I mentioned, 8-ish minute Bible study podcast. That's fun because again, that's just, hey, if you want to spend time in the Word, you don't have a lot of time, 8-ish minutes a day, 8 minutes a day in the Bible. I mean, that could change your life.
Yeah.
Love it.
And so, I'd love for people to check that out and let me know what they think. And then if you're in the DFW area or Fort Worth, I work at Healing Street Church. I'm the discipleship pastor there. And I love, connecting and, talking about the Lord with people. So I would absolutely hang out.
Awesome.
You also have a YouTube channel.
I do. Yeah. So the primary, as far as YouTube goes, it's either the short forms that I share like TikTok and Instagram, or it's also now this podcast I'm doing video as well. So you can do the audio or the video for some of the longer form. Yeah.
Very cool.
Yay.
Okay. Go find him.
We'll put them in the show notes.
Yeah.
Also,
thank y'all.
I need people to comment on this episode if you're watching it on YouTube and let us know, do you think that Josh looks like Al Borland from Home Improvement?
Oh, yes.
Yeah. Okay. This is something that I've noticed as I've gotten older, and this is all 100% true. Okay. This is what getting older is like. Okay. So when I was in high school, I legit had people tell me, hey, you look like a young Mel Gibson.
Oh,
like, Well,
Okay.
all right.
You're
You
like,
just have to
okay,
trust
G.
me. You'll have to trust me on that one.
Uh-huh.
So then later on, like early 20s when I got married, people were like, hey, you kind of look like Paul Rudd. And so I was like, okay, like the guy from Clueless, you know, he's Ant-Man. So
Uh-huh.
Oh,
yeah,
yes,
I'm not Braveheart, but like I'm in the Marvel universe now. That's kind of cool.
Right.
Okay.
That's cool. Yeah.
So then, man, I hit a new partition when somebody reached out and said, hey, you remind me of Al Borland. So I was like, okay, I'm in my Al Borland era now.
Am I
guess.
really the only person who's ever said that to you, though?
I've never heard that.
Oh my gosh. Well, now I feel like I need to apologize.
You gave him a complex.
Apparently I did.
No,
As a 3, you have a slight complex right now inside, internally.
I don't believe you look just like him. I believe that y'all are distant cousins.
You favor him. Like
Yeah.
you look like y'all could be related.
Yeah.
Like if you look at his eyes, you could see the Mel Gibson.
Yes.
I could if I saw a younger version of him with his eyes, yes, I could totally.
There you go.
That's funny.
Was
Y'all are
that
funny.
a little bit of redemption? Just a little bit?
So
Yeah,
your
thank
eyes
you.
are winning.
Totally
Thank
think
you.
you look like Mel Gibson, but a less crazy version of Mel Gibson. Okay.
Yeah. Thank you. Yeah.
Thought I need to throw that
You're
in
welcome.
there.
That's funny. Yeah. It's the forever young Mel Gibson guys, by the way.
Yes,
Yeah,
girl. That's
so-
what we're talking about.
Yes.
Yeah.
100%.
Yes.
Well,
That's funny.
Josh, we have so enjoyed having you on the podcast today. We definitely will be praying for you. Please be praying for him out there as he continues to write his book. Because we do really truly believe that is going to be a great addition to what could really help so many people and help so many pastors and pastors' wives and ministry leaders to get inside the mind and like start looking at these people and going after them and loving them well. So I'm excited about the book. We are. It'll be good.
Yeah.
Be good. So.
Oh, thank y'all. Y'all are so fun. Thank you so much for having me.
Well,
It's
we
been
love your
such a pleasure.
sweatshirt. Thanks for wearing your sweatshirt to the podcast.
Yeah. A little bit of merch. If anybody wants to go,
Yep, there
it's in
we
the
go.
show notes as well.
It's awesome. Super
Well,
comfortable.
Good.
Good. Yes.
Super soft.
All right.
That's good.
Until next time, guys.
Bye.
Bye.
Okay, friends, if you have enjoyed this episode as much as we have, please help us spread the word on Facebook and Instagram.
If you didn't know yet, Instagram is where all the fun is at. From dance reels on Wednesdays to spiritual encouragement and laugh out loud posts in between, there is something for everyone.
And last but certainly not least, if you could take a moment right now to stop what you're doing and give us a rating and review, even subscribe to our podcast, this seriously helps other people find us who wouldn't be able to otherwise. Thank you so much for your love and support. We hope you'll tune in next week.